Hey family, I've been rescheduling. I haven't been feeling well. I'm actually, I think in a mode of restoration. We're gonna enjoy some music while we wait for some eyeballs to pop up. I know I started a little bit late, a couple of minutes late, but we're not gonna focus on that. We had some connection issues, and so we're gonna wait and let some people jump in. If you guys want, grab a drink. This is gonna be a somewhat long one, very informative, a lot of information. This is very personal to me because, as many of you know, I've been sick. I haven't been well, and so I do got some updates with that. Hi, Robert. I love you, buddy. Thanks for jumping in, man. I'm going to go grab some water myself. And so enjoy the music. Just know that I'll be right back. And enjoy the music. I'll be right back. We're going to wait for some eyeballs to pop up. Some activity in the chat. And so, Robert, if you would, if you see anybody jump in, just go ahead and be active in the chat, guys, and I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab some water now that we got a connection. I love y'all, family. I'm glad y'all are here. I'm excited about today. Healing ancestral trauma. We're finna look at what it takes to heal not only ourselves, but through... Hi, Maria. Thanks for jumping in. But heal through our ancestors, but also in doing so, heal our ancestors. Heal the past and change the future. And so enjoy the music. I'll be right back. I like the dark and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are someone's faces of people passing by. So friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them go. They'll learn much more than we'll know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish I found a star. I see a couple more eyeballs. I am here, family. I will be right back. I'm just going to grab a couple more things. So hang in there. Hi, Teodora. So we got Robert, Maria, Teodora. Good to see you guys. Way up high, the dream that you did to, why, oh why can't All right, family. Another eyeball popped up. I'm glad you can join. I'm really excited about today. Ancestral trauma. Generational trauma. Do you believe that trauma can be transferred generationally? I say yes. I say that there's proof for that. I'm going to present some of that proof, and I'm going to present some of the proof that we can heal from that. We can heal from that, and it's amazing that when you break it down, we are much more than a computer. Sorry guys, I got the music on because I'm gonna put it on this song because I love this song. But I'll show you. I'm still trying to get ready. A lot of you know that I haven't been feeling well, so I was resting. Every opportunity I get that my body says rest, I try and take advantage and rest, and so that's why I had it on no camera. But we've got some exciting research to go over, and it's not anything new. It's stuff that's been done. I love you. It's stuff that's been looked at and researched for several years now, and I believe that healing is available for myself. And whatever it is I'm going through, I don't necessarily have to know exactly what it is, but I know that God has given me the ability and even the authority to heal these things. And so I'm excited. And you be blessed as well, Maria. Theodora, I'm hanging in there. Some things are changing. I feel things changing inside. I believe that healing is there, and I believe that that much more than the outside sources. I have been looking at some frequencies, and we're going to talk about frequencies today. We're going to talk about belief today, and how belief alters frequencies. And so we're going to get started here in just a minute. But yes, I've been doing been mindful about what I eat, testing here and there what I can and can't eat, and that actually, honestly, the bleeding has improved. And so, we'll just do that real quick. We'll do a quick health update and let you guys know that the bleeding has improved slightly. It's just been up and down. It's been up and down, but right now I'm on an upswing, and I believe that it's going to remain a constant upswing now. I believe that, and I receive that by faith. I claim it with authority, the authority that's given to me by the Creator of all things, who's put His Spirit in me. And so I just want you guys to understand that these things are available. They're available for each one of us. There's this idea, that generational trauma, is it a thing? Is it really a thing? Is it something that we can have passed down to us through our family, through genetics, right? Can we heal ourselves through knowing our ancestral struggles and through what they've gone through, connecting with some of those things? Is it possible to connect with some of those things? I mean, they're ancient, right? That's why they're called ancestors. And so, oh, really? I'll have to check that out. Definitely have to check that out, because I've been researching a lot regarding the health and how we achieve that, and many of you have been following this regarding uh, my my illness and my seeking health outside of uh, the path that people generally take, through the medical community, through big pharma. I just don't do that. I was instructed not to by the creator. And so it's been that way with health issues in the past. And he's done some miraculous things with my back. And so, hi, Rebecca. Um, glad to see you in. Glad to see you made it. And so, I've seen miraculous healing in my own life, and I've seen the creator work in miraculous ways in revealing things that need to be revealed so that they can be healed, not only in my own life but in other people's lives, and doing so very pointedly, very specifically, uh, um, pointing to very specific heart issues and even specific circumstances and situations. And so I don't know why I doubt him, especially now that I've gotten into a situation where my own uh, um, strength and faith has been tested in this way. And so I hit a point where I haven't been making videos and I know that the creator has this for me. He wants me to share these things that he's showing me so that other people can learn these things. And again, I've shared in many past videos how we absorb the energy through these lives and through the videos, through the replays, and this information, it changes us. It literally changes us on a genetic level, on a cellular level, and it builds new neural synapses in the brain, a new mapping, a new neural mapping, new neural highways that actually dissolve old thought forms and create um, new factual truths. And that's how you know that it's truth, because it does resonate on that level. And so the idea of generational trauma, ancestral trauma, playing a part in what we're all going through right now, right? We know that there's a shift. We know that whether you're religious or you look at astrology or astrotheology or even just mathematics with the universe, whatever you look at, you know that things are changing. You know that this realm that we live in is changing. You know that the natural law is coming back to more of that natural law rather than all of these man-made laws, and you just see all of these changes, and you see the disclosure happening, right? All of these things that are being disclosed to the public that people think are crazy, right? But we got to go back beyond what modern the leaders and rulers who wrote his story, right? The modern teachings of today, um, and look at some of the ancestral aspects of things that we already knew, right? Technologies that we have today that are just now being disclosed to the public. And I'll do some shows on that some of the energy, 0 point energy, and just some of the technology that's coming out today and being disclosed today is only the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we talk about extraterrestrial technology. Well, that extraterrestrial technology comes from us, the wisdom that we get from the ether, from connecting with source, and and so it's not some alien technology. It's technology that we get again from divine revelation. And but these things have been around for a long time. I mean, these things, we see it throughout the megaliths in from ancient times. From the we hear the antediluvian stories of giants and giant creatures And so we got to go back even before then. I mean, whether you want to believe it or not, even the microbes that are in our gut, the cells that are our bodies. I mean, if you want to look at the whole big picture and see the fact that that our great ancestors, the ones from way back, might be those single cell organisms that are still around and living in our body today, uh, um, that created this body, right? That make up this body. We start to understand that this disease, it goes down to a cellular level as well as healing. And that healing and that dis-ease, is it really coming from the space in our mind that creates the emotions, the energy in motion, right? I often wonder about that, having been a victim, so to speak, of emotional trauma, knowing things in my family that these hearing these horrific stories of these past traumas that have been go back generation to generation to generation, right? And all of these things have played a huge role in my life and in the things that I've gone through, and as do your ancestors and their story. It has a lot to do with what you're going through right now, especially in this time that things are shifting and things are being revealed, things are being brought to the surface, and things are being purged. These ancestral traumas, as well as the traumas that we faced in our lives. And so a lot of people aren't driven or inclined to discuss these painful experiences in their own lives, right? That's something that I've always had an issue with. When I started coming to terms with the fact that there were memories that were coming up that I was literally, that were repressed, that were coming to the surface, that I was literally trying to shove back down and deny ever happened. Uh, it's a difficult thing. It's a painful experience to go through, and then to have to relive it. It's one that nobody really wants to do, right? Nobody really wants to relive that and wants to face that, but it's necessary because these things will continue to resurface. And the things that we do to try to repress those memories come in the forms of alcohol and drugs and sex and multiple relationships, and the list goes on and on and on. I mean, think about the condition of the culture today, right? Of society today, and how depraved that is, right? But it comes from trying to um, cover up and repress those memories and those traumas. But it's necessary that we heal from those things, family, because those things are what cause the unnecessary aging and the dis-ease in our spirit that manifests as disease in our bodies. And seeing these things clearly is one of those things that really drives me to dig into these things, to find out why I am the way I am, why I've done the things that I've done, and how I can heal these things, how I can uh, overcome these things in my own physical struggles, right? And not only that, is that going to help my family? Is that going to help my kids? Is that going to help my wife? Is that going to help um, the rest of the people that I'm connected to genetically? And when you go back and down to it, we are all connected. We are all connected. All things are connected. Every atom, every subatomic particle that makes up this reality is all connected. It's all connected. It's all ancient, and it's all connected. Every atom that makes up what you are is ancient, and it's amazing. I've got a few videos. I've got a lot of footage to share, so I'm just gonna keep chugging away, and I'm not gonna really address the chat right now. You guys keep um, uh, being active. I'll definitely look at the chat before we cut our time, but um, I want to understand what can be achieved from these grim memories, from these traumas, from what are the lessons in the things that I faced thus far in my life, and how can other people around me benefit from that, not just the ones closest to me. Of course, those are the people that I love and I care about, just like anybody else. I love each and every one of you, but you know how this works. You have the people closest to you that you want the best for, and that starts with your spouse, your children, and then your family, and so that uh, uh, outward wave, I guess, so to speak, of love energy starts from that center point, just like it does with the Father. And we're all His children, and so we all have that inheritance. We all have that love, and I want to benefit from the things that I've gone through, and I want other people to benefit from the things that they've gone through. And so, um, being a researcher, the way that my mind works, very analytical. I found this research by Linda Joy Rose, a PhD. Uh, she's uh, done a lot of work in the Hispanic community of Southern Colorado Southern California, excuse me, as a therapist for many years, and she's compiled a bunch of statistics on traumatic experiences that were uncovered during a hypnotic age regression many sessions that were done. And statistically, the highest percentage of trauma involved sexual abuse of both male and female genders. And so this research also revealed a rather high instance of the affected female subjects reporting that their mothers had also been abused. This further advanced the thought process around these lines of uh, how these things can be passed down and how they can affect that next generation. You hear break the curse, and that's something that I think I put on a Facebook post. Is something that I've heard many times from way back, that when somebody tells you, oh yeah, that runs alcoholism, yeah, that runs in our family, oh yeah, this guy is I mean, I've seen that in my own family. Oh yeah, he's just a pervert, just ignore it. But those things getting brushed under the rug, and trying to be shoved down and looked away like that. No, you see, when somebody says, oh, that just runs in our family, no, this is where it runs the fuck out, because we're done with this. We're putting a stop to this. We're breaking that cycle. And we're healing this generational curse, this generational trauma, this ancestral trauma. It stops here. We're creating something new now. We're going to create a new web of a new experience of love, of healing, of forgiveness, of understanding that when we have a bitterness or anything that we carry with us from a past hurt, it's only affecting us in the negative, because those people that may have hurt you, they don't get to uh, they don't get to they don't have to live with that. I mean, some do, some actually do have I mean, eventually all are going to have a consequence that they're going to have to face from consequences and effects from the decisions that they make. And so but a lot of people, they don't let that affect them. When somebody does something hurtful to you, they go on with their life, right? But when you carry that bitterness or that hurt with you, it affects you again on a cellular level, right? The concept that emotional trauma can be handed down from our parents in a similar way that one inherits eye color isn't without scientific support. A study done by the University of Zurich, these researchers discovered not only can extreme and traumatic events change a person, but they can also impact their children a generation or two later through RNA strands. And I've got a lot of information to share about RNA. Again, I stated that this might be this might have to be broken up in multiple shows. And so this might have to be a series, a multi-show series. And so Um, I've got a lot of information, and I think that it's very pertinent to where we're at right now, moving into this new age of love and of healing, and how we literally heal this planet and the people in this planet, and the problems that are going on in this planet. The homelessness and the hunger issue. Man, so many people starving unnecessarily. And so we got to look to heal these things in us, and that's going to change so many things. And you'll see how family, as I go over all of this research I've done and a lot of the things that I've gone over in the past, are actually coming together, a lot of dots connected, and a lot of things coming to a head right now. And I think that coming into 2020 and understanding that we have the eternal now, right now, it actually alters the past. It really does, and this has been shown. And again, I'll show some of these things regarding the way the quantum field works, and the way that these particles and atoms actually map what's going on with the DNA right now in real time, and how that has no time delay, and it's amazing stuff. And so we will get to that stuff, but here these researchers discovered that these extreme and traumatic events can change a person, but they can also impact their children a generation or two later through RNA strands. In a study, mice were exposed to traumatic experiences that sparked depressive-like symptoms and behaviors. These behaviors were transferred to the next generation through the RNA in sperm. While the offspring have never been exposed to the trauma, these mice still exhibited the depressed states even into the third generation. And so this even comes back to the generational curse spoken of in scripture, where it says that I will visit these curses unto the third and even the fourth generation. And so we see, again, I want to tie these things in. Being somebody who formerly served in the pastorate and served in a pastoral position, I do want to point to scripture, because a lot of believers, a lot of Christians want to call this new age. This is all new age belief. This is all demonic. This is all satanic. You don't want to believe in that. It's charlatanism. It's all a scam, and it's all to get you to pull your focus away from the one true God. Well, no, the one true God is in you, and he gave you his inheritance. And Christ said in many places that the kingdom is within you. And if the kingdom is within you, then where is God? He's seated on the throne within you, right? He said that you would become sons of God, making us equal with Christ, saying that we would do greater works than him. By the faith of a mustard seed, we would cast mountains into the ocean. And so these times are coming upon us where the mountains may become tumbling into the sea. And so what is our job? To uphold this creation through the vibrational frequency of love and of forgiveness and of healing, because that's what we're to do. Is we're to heal the earth. We're to heal all things with our vibrational frequency, with our torrid, with our field. And so these things, again, they're going to seem a little bit esoteric, a little bit occultic, but it was occulted for a reason, because the powers and principalities, the rulers of this dark age, didn't want you to have this power, have access to this knowledge, that you have the power to heal yourself. Then what would happen? The whole system would fall apart. If you knew that you had the power to manifest, if you knew that you had the power to heal, if you knew that you had the power to create, wherever two or more are gathered, there I am in your midst. It's you connect two magnets, you connect two of these torrid fields, and you have that faith of a mustard seed, and you can create amazing things. Again, I've got some amazing videos regarding some healings that are just mind-blowing. And again, this goes down to scientific research. This isn't just witchcraft mumbo jumbo, man. This is, you know what? Everything is magic. Everything is magic. Science is magic. Magic is science. And it all scientifically comes down to magnetics. And so the power of magnetics, what are you attracting? What are you repelling? And what is that's you do that by your thought, your emotion, and your speech. There's power of life and death in the tongue. So these generational trauma patterns can be depicted as heavy chain of links dragged down unconsciously from one family line down to the next. And one of the greatest benefits that can be achieved by doing the inner work needed to recognize and heal is you release your children from lugging these links into the future, thereby liberating them from the generational chain. And so this is very important. If you love your children, you want to do this work and you want to stop these cycles, man. How many cycles have I been through with alcoholism and with just anger and so many things, right? Learn the lesson, family, and we stop the cycle here and we heal not only ourselves and our own hearts and our own bodies, but we heal our children, whatever they're going through physically, whatever they're going through emotionally, whatever they're going through, whatever they might have to walk through in the future. Let's not add to that, family, because we add to that by continuing the cycle that we've been under generation after generation, 3 or 4 generations back. And we can stop that. We can heal that, family. We have the responsibility. And that's the hard, difficult thing for anybody to take up on this, especially believers or those that are really caught up in the church, is that we believe that all of this work is done by Christ. Well, yes, he ripped the veil so that we can see that we have access to what he brought and made available to us. He was the first fruits of what? Of many. And so why haven't we seen the many? Because people don't want to step up and take this responsibility and say, I am responsible for this, and I release these people from that. You have to heal from these things. You have to release people from the responsibility of your emotional well-being. And that's a difficult thing to do because we've had strangers hurt us and we've had people closest to us hurt us. I know that a lot of the abuse that I went through as a young child were from people that were trusted with me, that were close to me, people that nobody would ever think would hurt me, right? And so, as a result of doing a deep healing work, we get a kind of exoneration from our own ancestrals' baggage, releasing our children from that generational chain, releasing those that we love from the responsibility of those things. Even if they're deceased, we heal that, family. We heal that. Look, I saw this beautiful thing and I want to share it. Um, Let me see. Maybe I didn't pull it up. All right. I don't see it pulled up here, so I'm gonna just jump over here. But it's this. Um, Dang it! I thought I had it pulled up, but I guess I don't. Let me just double check again. I guess I don't, family. So I'm just gonna read it. But it's this post that I saved that regarding uh, it's an ancient blessing that was created in Nahuatl language spoken in Mexico. It deals with forgiveness, affection, detachment, and liberation. And so this is something that I think is beautiful and understand it. that we are responsible for creating this inner peace and this happiness and this joy and this healing for ourselves, but not only ourselves, we can release our ancestors from these pains that we carry and bear today and that we've put on our own children. We can release them. I'm just going to read this this blessing, this ancient blessing. It says, I release my parents from the feeling that they have already failed me. I release my children from the need to bring pride to me that they may right their own ways according to their hearts that whisper all the time in their ears. I release my partner from the obligation to complete myself. I do not lack anything. I learn with all beings all the time. I thank my grandparents and forefathers who have gathered so that I can breathe life today. I release them from past failures and unfulfilled desires, aware that they have done their best to resolve their situations within the consciousness they had at that moment. I honor you, I love you, and I recognize you as innocent. I am transparent before your eyes, so they know that I do not hide or owe anything other than being true to myself and to my very existence, that walking with the wisdom of the heart, I am aware that I fulfill my life project, free from invisible and visible family loyalties that might disturb my peace and happiness, which are my only responsibilities. I renounce the role of savior, of being one who unites or fulfills the expectations of others, learning through and only through love. I bless my essence, my way of expressing, even though somebody may not understand me. I understand myself because I alone have lived and experienced my history because I know myself. I know who I am, what I feel, what I do, and why I do it. I respect, honor, and approve myself. I honor the divine, and in you, we are free. You know, I think that's a beautiful picture of what needs to happen and a work that we can do, that we can understand that we don't have to just stuff it down and get over it. That's one of the generational curses that's been passed on and passed on and passed on. We have to release our children, release ourselves, release our ancestors from all of these things that bind us to the energy of shame, of despair, of guilt. Right? How often do we feel as parents guilty that we've let our children down? How many times do we as children feel guilty that we've let our parents down? I know a young man who took his own life because he failed. He didn't even fail. He didn't get his perfect 4 point whatever GPA honors because he got an A minus or something like that. He still got an A, but it messed up his perfect GPA for throughout college, and he killed himself. And that's something heavy, man. We carry guilt, we carry this feeling that we've somehow damaged our children, right? And we pass on our own fears and unresolved issues by believing these things, because we will go over the process of thought and emotion and the way that we all create these things, in the way that we all uh, um, uh, alter the energies that are around us. And so, we have to move forward in these things and release these things that weren't intentional by our ancestors. The burden, the weighty burden, the chains that we didn't even know that we were carrying, that we didn't know how to heal. We need to face them. We need to understand that we have those chains first and come to terms with that in order to heal those things. Can't just stuff it down and get over it. I want to point to the fact that I am going to screen share here and add this to the stream and come over here and show this. It's some research that I had gone over before, and I just want to jump over here and monitor to see that my screen share is working. And so this is some really interesting research regarding human emotion physically shaping reality. 3 different studies done by 3 different teams of scientists prove something really extraordinary. But when a new research connected these 3 discoveries, something shocking was realized, something hiding in plain sight. And so just listen to this article, read along with me, whatever you want to do, and understand how it correlates with what I'm talking about regarding ancestral trauma and how we can heal that and how it affects our children every moment that every decision that we make and every web of every moment that's in front of us affects them on a genetic level, on a cellular level, even if they're already born. And this study will show you how. And so even if this affects those that are already past and those that are to come as well. And so yes, Chloe, then that's the thing, is it's God that heals those things, and God is in us, and he's given us this power to heal those things. Like, he wants us to take that seed of Christ and do what Christ did and heal uh, uh, show people that they have the power to heal, right? That's what Christ did. He never took glory. He never took credit. He never said, bow down and worship me, for I have healed thee. Run and tell everybody that they must cometh unto me to be healed. No, we see like the likes of Benny Hinn and all of these other faith healers doing that kind of crap, right? But Christ never did that. Christ always said, you don't tell anybody that I did this. But he also told people, because of your faith, you have been made well. And I've got an amazing video to share regarding that will point directly to that. And so let's jump through this article real quick, and we're going to get onto some of these other things and discover how we can heal these ancestral traumas. And that in doing so, we will be changing the past, altering the past, healing it, altering the past, making all things new, and that we'll be creating a new web of a reality called heaven and earth, a new heaven and a new earth, a new reality here that brings about a healing for the plant life, the animal life, the human life, and the planet itself. And that's what we're moving into, family. And so check out these 3 different studies. Something that was hidden in plain sight. Human emotion literally shapes the world around us, not just our perception of the world, but the reality itself. Okay, so this is very important. All right. In the first experiment, human DNA isolated in a sealed container was placed near a test subject. Scientists gave the donor emotional stimulus, and fascinatingly enough, the emotions affected their DNA in the other room. In the presence of negative emotions, the DNA tightened. In the presence of positive emotions, the coils of the DNA relaxed. The scientists concluded that human emotion produces effects which defy conventional laws of physics. Okay, so that's the first one. And family, I'm actually going to jump over here, and while we're reading through this, I am going to throw this up because I did mention the fact that um, I'm going through these health issues. So I'm going to put up this ticker. You can see here, and actually I'll throw this one on later. You can add me on Facebook. If you want to donate through Messenger, if you're set up to do that, you can also like our jewelry page, Stardust City Creations. That is the a way that we're trying to raise funds since I haven't been able to work because I've been very sick. And so I'm not only looking for help with donations, but I'm also looking for people to buy our jewelry and buy our creations. And so I'm going to leave this ticker up. It's got the information on, donate, please donate and share my GoFundMe campaign. The GoFundMe link is up there. The PayPal link is up there. My Cash App is next. And then after that is my Venmo. And so if you are led to help in any way, please share the GoFundMe campaign. Please donate if you can, and please encourage others that can donate to donate and help our cause. And while I'm trying to heal, I'm doing a lot of research, and this healing I know isn't just for me. What I'm going through with this sickness is not just for me. God told me this a long time ago, Jeremiah 33:3, and think about that, the synchronicity with the numerology 333. Call to me and I will hear you, and I will show you great and mighty things that you do not know. And he's showing me a lot of great and mighty things that I did not know, and things that I could not know. I mean, I would have had to gone to extensive years of college to try and get this kind of information. And a lot of these things came to me just through that. And so through source, through seeking source, through knocking, seeking, and asking for truth, regardless of what the cost might be. And so I'm going to go ahead and leave that up there for you guys' information. If you want to share that information, that would be met with gratitude. I mean, it would be greatly appreciated, family. And so please share that and help my family out in this difficult time. And so we're going to move on with this article. Let's see. All right, so we went somewhere else. Let's come back to this. And so in the second similar but unrelated experiment, different groups of scientists extracted, I don't know how to say that, white blood cells, leukocytes, leukocytes from donors and placed into chambers so they could measure electrical changes. And so again, I've pointed to the fact that each cell in our body houses 1.4 to 1.8 volts of electricity. And so we are electric beings. We live in an electric universe, and we have a tremendous amount of power that if man really knew the power that he housed in his body and in his spirit, just his body alone, but in his spirit to manipulate the power that's in the body, he'd probably crap himself. And so a lot of these things were held back for a specific reason. And so let's move forward, because again, there's a lot of information to cover, and my son has fencing tonight. And so we are going to probably break this up into multiple episodes. And I hope that you guys share this. I hope that you hit the like button. In fact, if you would take a second, step away, hit the like button, share it out on your platforms, and direct people to this information, because I don't have a large platform, family, but I want to be faithful with those of you who have subscribed, and I want to be faithful in sharing what the Creator is showing me, because again, these are keys to healing and to connecting with Him, that are for everybody. It's not just for me. I want to give these things away. I don't look for money. The whole PayPal and GoFundMe thing, that's because I'm sick, family. When I'm not sick, I never ask for money. I don't have my channel monetized. It's not about the numbers for me. And so I just want to make that clear. This is about getting this information out, and the only reason I ask for help is because I need it, family. I wouldn't ask if I didn't need, but let's move forward with this. In one experiment, the donor was placed in one room and is subjected to emotional stimulation consisting of video clips, which generated different emotions in the donor. The DNA was placed in a different room in the same building. Both the donor and his DNA were monitored as the donor exhibited emotional peaks or valleys, measured by electrical responses. The DNA exhibited the identical responses at the exact same time. And so this is no time lag. This is ripping a hole through the time-space continuum, identical responses, DNA that's separated from its donor, monitors the same exact emotional peaks or valleys that were exhibited with no time lag, no lag time, no transmission time. The DNA peaks and valleys exactly match the peaks and valleys of the donor in time. The scientists wanted to see how far away they could separate the donor from his DNA and still get this effect. They stopped testing after they separated the DNA and the donor by 50 miles and still had the same result. No lag time, no transmission time. The DNA and the donor had the same identical responses in time. The conclusion was that the donor and the DNA can communicate beyond space and time. And so, oh, man. So here's the thing with our generational stuff, with our family stuff. Man, can you see how your emotional state would affect those that have your DNA? If I'm in my room, depressed, in darkness, and my DNA is acting in that way that this study said that it was tightening up, that it would coil up, and that doesn't allow for information to flow through the various the ladder, the various linkings in that double helix, the dormant DNA, right? The inactive DNA that people have said that we have. It's only inactive because we're not allowing it to loosen up, to uncoil, and to activate. And that's happening now with all of the things that are happening cosmically. It's because our DNA is activating. New information is bringing about new changes in our bodies. And I believe that this healing is, that this sickness and healing is for that very purpose, that others would learn from this and that we would see the way that we can break these generational curses, and that it's not necessary for our families to go through what they go through. You know, we swap DNA, and that'll be for one of the later shows, but how women carry the DNA from every partner that they've had, and not just the sexual partner, but you swap DNA when you swap spit, and you're sharing in that DNA, and in that DNA, when you're sharing in that DNA, you're sharing in the emotional connection, in that emotional connection, energy in motion, that energy in motion, that emotional trauma that they have transfers to you via the DNA, and it stores in your brain, and you actually store that and carry that, and that's one more piece of baggage that you carry. And so you need to be careful who even you're kissing. And this isn't a dogmatic, like legalistic trip. This is for your own benefit. This is for I appreciate that, Chloe. Like protons. Hey, I appreciate the chat. I'm glad that you guys are active in the chat. I see that we spiked up, and then when I started talking about donations, we dropped, a bunch of people dropped out. We lost a lot of eyeballs, but hopefully, you know, this information is meant for those that are hearing it. And if you catch it on the replay or you catch it on the live, either way, I know that it's meant for you. And so, you know, me being sick is just part of what's going on in my life. And so again, I'm raw with that, and I share everything that I'm told to share. And so my life is something that I'm meant to share, and this is how I'm coming about this information, is going through it myself. I'm I'm going through this valley myself so that others can benefit from it. And I'm going to be a living testament to the fact that these things are factual and that we have the power to bring about this healing, not only in ourselves, but in our families and all the way into the past, our ancestral traumas. And in doing so, we're changing the future and we're mapping a new future. Again, one based on love, on forgiveness, on mercy, on grace. And so let's jump back over here and look at the third aspect of these experiments. And so in the third experiment, it proves something pretty shocking. Scientists observed the effect of DNA on our physical world. Light photons, which make up the world around us, were observed inside of a vacuum. Their natural locations were completely random. This is mind-blowing, family. So check this out. Human DNA was then inserted into the vacuum. Shockingly, the photons were no longer acting random. They precisely followed the geometry of the DNA. Scientists who were studying this described the photons behaving surprisingly and counterintuitively. They went on to say that we are forced to accept the possibility of some new field of energy. They concluded that human DNA literally shaped the behavior of light photons that make up the world around us. So when a new research was done and all three of these scientific claims were connected together, scientists were shocked. They came to a stunning realization that if our emotions affect our DNA and our DNA shapes the world around us, then our emotions physically change the world around us. Not just that, we are connected to our DNA beyond space and time. We create our reality by choosing it with our feelings. Science has already proven some pretty mind-blowing facts about the universe we live in. All we have to do is connect the dots. And so this is amazing, amazing research, right? And again, these things can be backed up by so much research and things that the ancients knew uh, centuries ago. I mean, these things were known and practiced so long ago, right? And so we can see here, everything is energy and we control it with the power of our thoughts. The Nobel Prize awardees in physics beyond doubt prove that the physical world is one big ocean of energy that materializes and dematerializes in a split second over and over again. Nothing is solid. This is the world of quantum physics. I've got a lot of information and videos, especially in the past couple of months. The most recent videos I've done over the past few months has a lot to do with quantum physics and its correlation with the spiritual and the religious writings of ancient cultures. And so nothing is solid. This is the world of quantum physics. They prove that the thoughts are responsible for holding this ever-changing energy field together in the form and shape of the objects we know. And so in Colossians 1:16, it talks about everything was created in him, through him, by him, and for him. And by him, all things consist and are held together, right? And so like, we are the Son, we are Christ, we are that's what Christ wanted to tell us, that we are Christ, and all of these things consist and are held together by us, right? For us, through us. Why? So that we learn, so that we grow, and so that we liberate not only our spirit, but our soul, but our making it one with the spirit, but others that are trapped in bondage of the materialistic world of this beast system, right? And so why do we see a person instead of flashing clusters of energy? Think of a roll of film. A film is a collection of about 24 frames per second. Each frame is separated from the other by a small space. Compared to the speed of these frames change with our eyes are tricked. Compared to the speed these frames change with our eyes tricked and see them as a continual film. Think about television. The cathode tube is a simple tube with a bunch of electrons hitting the screen in a certain way, making an illusion of a shape and movement. Anyway, this is how all objects are made. We have 5 physical senses: sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. Each of these senses has a specific range. For an example, a dog hears a different range of sound than people do. Snakes see a different spectrum of light than us, and so on. In other words, our senses perceive energy from a certain fixed point of view, and that's how they create images and form our perception. But that's neither exact nor complete. That's just an interpretation. All our interpretations are based exclusively on our inner map of reality, but not the real truth. Our map is a result of the collective experience of our personal lives. Our thoughts are associated with this invisible energy, and they determine what form it will take. They literally change the universe particle after particle, creating our 3D life. Look around you. Everything you see in our physical world began as an idea which kept growing until it materialized into a physical object through a series of steps. You literally turn into your most frequent thoughts. Your life has become what you imagined and believed in. The world is literally your mirror. It allows you to experience everything you believe to be the truth in this 3D plane until you change it. That's why it can be so crushing when you come into the realization that so many of these things are just an illusion, literally. Quantum physics tells us that the world is not a constant as it may appear to be. Instead, it's a place of constant motion with which our individual and collective thoughts keep building, tearing down, and rebuilding. It's a perpetuum mobile. What we believe to be true is actually an illusion, almost magic. Fortunately, we start to expose the illusion, and most importantly, we are learning how to change it. Here's a simple explanation. What are the components of our body? The human body is comprised of 9 systems, including the circulatory, digestive, endocrine, muscular, nervous, reproductive, respiratory, skeletal, and urinary system. And I've talked a lot about how the endocrine system is tied in with the spiritual aspect of the chrism and the Christ, and how that ties in with all of our systems. And so, what makes these systems? Tissues and organs. What are tissues and organs made of? Cells. What makes the cells? Molecules. What makes a molecule? Atoms. What makes an atom? Subatomic particles. What makes subatomic particles? Energy. We are just an energy light in its most beautiful and intelligent configuration, an energy which is consistently changing under the surface, and all of that, it's controlled by our powerful mind. And so I've got this picture that I've shown before, and there's about 7 octillion atoms in your body, and all of them are billions of years old. At the deepest level, you are the universe in human form. And so we have to understand this, family. We have this ancient gnosis in ourselves. We have this. Yes, Becky, when you begin to know thyself, this illusion begins to go away, and you begin to understand the power that you have that's been given to you, and that power and how you're supposed to use that power. That power is meant for you to use with authority. And so we have to really take that as truth and transmute these energies that have been meant to keep us in bondage, transmute them and use them to change the realm that we see and we perceive, the realm that we have created. If you could see under a strong electronic microscope and do other experiments on it, you would see that you're made up of clusters of forever changing energy in the shape of electrons, neutrons, photons, and other subatomic particles. So is everything else around you. Quantum physics tells us that the act of observing the object is the one that causes the object to be there. We've seen this with the Schrodinger's experiment. Schrodinger's cat. The object does not exist independently of its observer. So, as you can see during observation, your attention is focused on something, and your intention literally creates that thing. This goes to show you, family, why they're pushing the agenda that they're pushing, the constant traumas through the false flags. And not saying that the false flags don't actually happen and people don't actually die, but there's an agenda for it. And that's why it's called a false flag. The reason for all of the traumas being pushed through the media, through the mainstream media, through the movies that we watch, all of these traumas that our subconscious is taking on and our DNA is mapping. That's why we have to be so careful with the music we listen to and the movies that we watch and the emotions that they invoke. Those are literally energies in motion that are putting you in a motion in a direction that you might not even realize you're moving in. And before you know it, shit is blowing up in your face, and you're in this place of rage, despair, and depression. A downward spiral, family, that can happen like that because we get caught up in a movie or a song or even a thought. A thought form that was planted there but by a specific energy for a very specific purpose to draw that energy. Yes, they feed off of our energy collectively. We are literally batteries for this matrix system, for this overlay of reality, the reality that we can see all of these other energy forms, whatever it might be. People might call them dragons, fairies, hobbits. You might be able to see them filthy hobbitses if you break free from this illusion and reality. You know what I'm saying? I mean, seek them out. I mean, you might go into the woods one day and see a hobbits is coming out of their dang hobbit hole. You know, big old hairy feet. You don't know, but it means breaking free from this fear and from this control matrix that we've been under. Right? It's a constant energy feeding and it's a energy production and a feeding off of that energy source. I've pointed to it multiple times in like the cartoons, Monsters Inc. They tell you in the movie The Dark Crystal when they're sucking the essence of I don't even know what they're called, the little gimblets or whatever the heck they're called. I don't know what they're called, but they're sucking their essence. Uh, uh, and so, I mean, this is what's happening in our realm, and they're showing us, right? And so, your world is consisted of soul, mind, and body. 369, energy, frequency, vibration. Each of these three has a function that is unique. What you can see with your own eyes and experience with your own body is the physical world, which we call the body. The body is an effect created by a cause. That cause is called thought. The body cannot produce, it can only experience and be experienced. It's a unique ability. On the other hand, the thought cannot experience, it can make, create, and interpret. It needs a world of relativity, the physical world, the body, to be able to experience. So we're spiritual beings having a human physical experience. The soul is everything, everything is spiritual, the one that gives life, thought, and body. The Great Spirit does that. We have His Spirit in us. That's what gives us animation and life. The body has no power to create, although it gives the illusion that it does. This illusion is the reason behind so many frustrations. The body is a pure effect and has no power to cause or create. The key is to use this information to see the universe in a different way than we see it now, so that we can manifest what we really want. And so this is just amazing, family. This is amazing. And we have this available for us right now. We have this healing available for us right now. You know, our cells listen to us. Our cells listen to our body. I mean, our body, our cells that make up our body listen to our thoughts and our and our emotions, our words, the vibrational frequency of our words. Scientists are starting to acknowledge this belief that shamans and healers, ancient spiritual masters knew for centuries that the mind is a powerful healing tool. Bruce Lipton has shown that our thoughts, no matter if they're conscious or not, can have an impact on our bodies, on our DNA. Take into consideration what we just learned about our DNA and the transference of that energy, even through the light photonic field of creation and mapping that DNA. So the negative thoughts and beliefs will help in the process of the destruction of the body. The good news is that the positive self-talk, self-affirmation, unconditional love to ourselves can make miracles. This is why Christ said, love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Well, wait, how do I love myself? Well, love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. He's telling you how to love yourself. God is in you. Love God in you with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. So you know how to love your neighbor, because then you'll know how to love yourself. And so the biggest mistake that we do is not paying attention to the thoughts in our head, because our cells are listening to the negative self-talk 24/7. Every thought that we have, our cells are mapping that. And the useful things to be saying to your cells, Ian Brown points out that cells are hoarders of emotions, of thoughts, and of previous experiences, even back to ancestral mapping. That's what we're looking at right now, healing these ancestral traumas. And nothing is given up unless you tell them to let go. Talk to your body, family. Every single thought counts, which means all the loving, encouraging you are giving to yourself and all the positive words and thought are being absorbed by yourselves, because words and frequencies can reprogram even the DNA. It's important to know that we are not a brain supported by an inconsequential body, but a highly intelligent system. It all works together, family. It's all connected and it all works together. Every part of us has its own consciousness, and understanding this will help us in our own self-healing. Positive body talk for healing, for developing a respectful and loving relationship with ourselves, our bodies, our organs, and cells. We need to see the amazing interdependence within us. The first step could be listening to your body through meditation. We can also say these 3 words out loud. I love you. Tell your body, I love you. Tell every cell in your body that you love it. Teresa Wade, MSc, and Your Cells Are Listening, How Talking to Your Body Can Help Heal, gives these additional tips. Approach your body with genuine compassion, understanding that it's made up of conscious cells who experience emotions. Build trust by engaging your body in positive mental conversations about your desire for the 2 of you to cooperate and overcome the ailment. Allow changes in the conversation by using different thoughts and words that elicit spontaneous, elevated emotions. The spiritual leader Osho adds, once you start communicating with your body, things become very easy. The body need not be forced, it can be persuaded. One need not to fight with the body. That's ugly, violent, aggressive, and any sort of conflict is going to create more and more tension. So you need to be in conflict. Let comfort be the rule. Osho gives examples for approaching the imbalance, to the imbalance within the body. With weight loss, first tell the brain that you are sending on a message to the body that the brain should pass it on. Then simply tell the body that 5 pounds or kilos less will be ideal, that you digest normally. Do not involve the eating at all. Just tell the body that some pounds less are needed. And when you get there, tell the body to stay there, that there is no need to lose any more weight or to gain more weight. And that's one thing that I am going to be practicing, that I actually started practicing a couple of days ago, to put weight back on, because I was losing a tremendous amount of weight. And so I'll let you guys know how that goes. Right now, I just a day or 2 ago, I had lost a lot more weight and I was back down to 140. And so I've been weighing myself and I've been going up a couple of pounds the past couple of days I've gone up a couple of pounds every day. And so I'll weigh myself tonight, and I'll update you guys tomorrow on part 2 of this healing ancestral trauma series, and let you guys know how the weight gain is going, because I don't need to lose weight, I need to gain weight. Migraines is something that I've struggled with for a long time. Speak to the body in 2 ways. First, speak to the whole body, telling it that its help is needed to send away this pain in the brain. Explain to the body that pain is not its natural way. There's no need to be carrying this pain. Then speak to the brain directly in your own words, telling it, I do love you, but this pain is not part of your nature, and it's time to get rid of it. And when it is gone, simply remind the brain not to take it back. But he thinks that true healing and health will be possible if people are taught how to make friends with the body. And so we do have to make friends with the body. This is something that's evident, right? If we control energy, if we create reality, we have control over healing our body, and our body is listening. Every cell in our body is listening. And so we see that experts have been saying that healing your body, healing yourself by talking to your body is possible. Your cells are listening. We just went over that. Guidelines for dynamic healing. I know how prevalent chronic pain is in this country, and to try to teach others that the implications of this phenomenon could mean to those who are suffering. Regular meditation is necessary to train the brain to enter alpha and theta brainwave states. These states, the connection between the conscious mind and the physical body is dramatically enhanced. I have discovered that when communicating, there are 2 key steps to gaining the cooperation of the body. Go to your body with genuine compassion, understanding that it is made up of live cells who experience emotions. Build a big trust by engaging your body in mental conversations about your desire of the 2 of you cooperate and fix the ailment. The above guidelines are necessary to achieve dynamic healing responses in the body. And there is a force to human intention. When we were talking about everything is energy, right? And that that right there is an amazing. We might have to do an episode just on this alone, but everything is energy, and we control it with the power of our thoughts. I was just watching this the other day with my family, and I'm gonna close that and show this. And it's amazing because in this movie, Doctor Strange, he has an issue with his hands, and and I'm gonna be doing a show, Theodora, on the that people can actually literally die from a broken heart, and so that's a good comment. And thank you, JC. I accept that. I receive that, blessings and healing. I receive that, and so I will go over some of these if we've got time, but I do want to try and keep this to an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, because we got some things to do today. And I'm feeling a little bit energized and able to get out of the house. And so I want to take advantage of that and get out and get some fresh air and some sun. But here he's going and seeking an ancient healer, a monk, to help him figure out how to heal, because he was this top neurosurgeon, damaged his hands, and he ran across a guy that he even considered impossible to heal, and he was the best of the best, and so he turned him down. This guy healed. He told him how he healed, and he sent him to this monk, and this is what the monk reveals to him. And so check this out, family.
Did you heal a man named Pangborn, a paralyzed man?
In a way.
You helped him to walk again.
Yes.
How did you correct a complete C7, C8 spinal cord injury?
Well, I didn't correct it. He couldn't walk. I convinced him that he could.
You're not suggesting it was psychosomatic.
When you reattach a severed nerve, is it you who heals it back together, or the body?
It's the cells.
And the cells are only programmed to put themselves back together in very specific ways.
Right.
What if I told you that your own body could be convinced to put itself back together in all sorts of ways?
You're talking about cellular regeneration. It's bleeding edge medical tech. Is that why you're working here without a governing medical board? I mean, just how experimental is your treatment?
And so he's talking about
Quite.
cellular regeneration, right? Cellular regeneration.
So you figured out a way to reprogram nerve cells to self-heal?
No, Mr. Strange. I know how to reorient the spirit to better heal the body.
That's key.
Spirit
Reorient
heal
the
body.
spirit to better heal the body. That's key.
All right, how do we do that? Where do we start?
The ancient writings.
Don't like that map?
Oh no, it's really good. It's just, I've seen it before in gift shops.
What about this one?
Acupuncture, great.
Yeah.
Chakras, acupuncture,
That one.
Showing me an MRI scan.
energy.
Each of those maps was drawn up by someone who could see in part, but not the whole.
I spent my last dollar
In
getting
part,
here.
but not the whole.
My
And
ticket,
that's
and
why
you're
a lot
talking
of this
to me
research
about
that I've
healing through
done
belief.
is coming to a head. And I'm seeing in the whole now what God wants me to see regarding how this healing, quantum healing, is available for each and every one of us. And I'm gonna show that, family. I know that healing is here for me as well as it is for you, and that we just have to take that, and that we have to learn how to balance the elements in our bodies, the energies that we come in contact with and that flow through us, and understand how we can manipulate those energies for our benefit, for our healing, and for the healing of mankind, for the healing of this earth. And so I'm going to go ahead and play the rest of this because it's pretty cool.
You've spent your whole life trying to widen that keyhole, to see more, to know more. And now, on hearing that it can be widened in ways you can't imagine, you reject the possibility.
No, I reject it because I do not believe in fairy tales about chakras or energy or the power of belief. There is no such thing as spirit. We are made of matter and nothing more. You're just another tiny, momentary speck within an indifferent universe.
You think too little of yourself.
Oh, you think you see through me, do you? Well, you don't. But I see through you.
And for those of you who have experienced any kind of astral travel or out-of-body experience, you'll know that this is pretty spot on what it's like. And so I don't know what this is. Forgive me, family. I'll just close that window because I can't get it to stop. I suck with this technology, so forgive me, family.
Of the healing of a 3-inch diameter bladder cancer inside the body of a woman.
What is going on? I want to pause that video. Because I want to start that way back here. So I want to share a couple of things. So regarding energy, this is just a video that was shared on Facebook regarding how the molecules are actually changed by vibrational frequency. And so this is just a sound system in a dude's car. This is a sound system in a guy's car, and he's just gonna give a picture of how vibrational frequency can turn solid matter into a malleable form. Actually move the particles and change it from a solid form. Let me turn this down a little bit more. So you'll see with the vibrations of the bass, those lower vibrational frequencies are actually moving the metal, making this glass look like liquid. It is actually changing the properties, the physical properties of this man's car, and making that metal move like rubber. It's making that glass move like a sheet of paper. It's actually, look at that. It is changing the structure of the solid, the platonic solid that this man's truck consists of, that makes up this man's truck. Look at that window. That window is freaking waving at you. The metal is waving at you. This is what sound does. Vibrational frequency can do this. That's pretty freaking amazing, right? And so vibrational frequency can do this, right? Vibrational frequency can do this. Thought, emotion. Our thoughts emit a vibrational frequency, family. Our thoughts emit a vibrational frequency. Our hearts emit a vibrational frequency. We have a torrid field around our heart that's 5,000 times greater than that of the one around our brain. And so our thoughts combined with our emotions, our heart, and then we speak that into creation, a vibrational frequency that we speak into creation. We can alter physical matter just like that music altered the physical matter of that truck. We can alter physical matter. And if we can alter physical matter, we can alter the physical matter that our body consists of. And we can overcome any disease and any poisons that they're trying to throw at us, anything that they're trying to use against us and manipulate us physically. It can be null and void and of no use, because we have the power to transmute that energy into whatever we want it to be. And so we have to be aware of our energy, and we have to understand, and by faith, take it that we can heal. And so I'm going to show a couple of healings. The first one doesn't really have an explanation. And so actually I got to pop back over here and add this to the stream. And then jump over here. This is one I saw on Facebook, but it was removed. And so I'm going to share this. This woman has an arm issue, obviously, that's been there for, I would think probably since birth. And so we're going to see this healing happen in real time. And we hear them. We hear them chanting. They believe that this woman is going to be healed. She believes that she's going to be healed. And so watch this, family. And understand that this healing is available. This is powerful stuff. And this is not some film magic. This is taken on a dang cell phone. And I've seen, being in the church, I've seen so many testimonies of faith in other countries, because that's what they have. They don't have the medical technology that we have. And so their faith, because of their faith, they've been made well. So that's it. So sorry if it's kind of loud, but you see him throwing water on her. Water heals. And I want to tell you that the holy water thing, it's because of the vibrational frequencies of the belief and the blessing that's been put in those water molecules. And so you see her arm straightening out. You see that she wasn't able to move her finger. She was not able to use that arm. It was useless. It was motionless. She could not move it. Look at it straightening out. It turned into rubber, just like that vehicle. Just like that music made that window wave. These people's faith, the vibrational frequency and the energy that they put forth from their mind and their heart and spoke into existence. And this woman's belief and faith in that. Look at her. Watch. She's going to start moving her fingers now. See that? Making a fist, moving her fingers. Her arm works again. That is a miracle, family. That is a miracle. That is a miracle. That is a miracle. And I want to share this with Greg Braden. He explains this. This is why I want to show I got such a deep drive to show that the spiritual and the scientific, it's all connected. Everything is connected. Everything is connected. And so I'm going to show a few minutes of this video, family, and I will try and put the links in when I get back, but I'm going to cut out. It's been an hour and a half since we started. I'm going to share this video, and then I'm going to compile a lot more research that I've done regarding this quantum healing that's available to us, and the fact that we have power over all of these things because of the electromagnetic field that our spirit produces within our body, and then manifest in the physical through our heart and our mind. And then we have power in life and death in the tongue. And so I love you guys. I am inspired to heal. I'm inspired to heal myself. I'm inspired that you would heal yourself, JC. And we're going to heal the world in doing so. We're going to heal our ancestors in doing so. We're going to heal the past. We're going to change the past. We're going to make all things new, JC, with this wisdom and this gnosis that the Creator has given us. And I have a passion for it. And I have a passion in sharing it because I believe it and I know it deep down in my soul. This is what we are here for, family. This is what we are here for. We are realm changers, and this is what we are here for. And together we can do this. I want to play this, family.
Seems a little more than academic until we can actually apply it in our lives or see it applied in our lives. It's in the late 1990s that I had the opportunity to do precisely that. When I saw the footage documenting the healing of a life-threatening condition within the body of a living woman,
That'd
using
be amazing, Theodore.
precisely the kinds of techniques that we're speaking about right now.
Amazing.
For me, it was
I'll
this
share
kind of
that video
information
as well.
that took this lost modality of prayer out of the...
Let me just share that, family. If you guys have any footage or any information that you would feel pertinent in the things that I share, that it would be shared on my platform, I would love to look over any information. I know that Theodore's been linking so many things in the comments and trying to send things through email, but one of the emails wasn't working regarding frequencies and this healing that's available through frequencies. And he talks about cymatics in this. And so I don't know how much of this we're going to play. But I want you to understand that we're in this together, family. I'm in this with my family for a reason, and because they are healers, because they have a purpose, and they are going to come to understand all of these things. As I'm learning these things, I share it with my family, and it takes time to grasp onto all of these things, but and when you know them, to actually put them into practice. I'm going through a very, very crazy illness, and I've known these things, but to put them into practice and to actually walk through, as Theodore is telling me about this native who goes through fire, to sit in the flames, by faith, knowing that you're being purified, that you're being refined. And so let's watch this, family. I get excited, and I talk a lot when I get excited. And so I'm going to digress and just go back to the video and share this because, man, I get excited because I love my family. I love my family, and I love you, my soul family. And so I get excited about these things because we don't have to suffer, family. We don't have to go through these things. We don't have to go through these things. Going through the fire serves its purpose, but once we come to know these things, we walk through these things, and we walk through them by faith, not by sight. And so
realm
we have the
of
sight.
Academics, and it is something that's very real that we can apply in our lives. I had the opportunity during that time to see some video footage of the healing of a 3-inch diameter bladder cancer inside the body of a woman who by Western medical standards had been diagnosed inoperable. She had gone as a last resort to a medicineless hospital in Beijing, China. It was in this medicineless hospital where they began simply by addressing the life-affirming ways that she could change how she was living her life. They taught her life-affirming ways to breathe and life-affirming ways to nourish her body, gentle movements to stimulate the energy centers in her body.
And so we should be teaching these things to our kids. This is one thing that I know moving into this just now is working with my kids regarding breathing exercises, deep breathing, and stimulating of the vagus nerve, and stimulating the kundalini energy that sits and is ready to rise and give this wisdom and this gnosis. And so breathing, affirmations.
And as she was doing these and strengthening her body, at one point it made sense to undergo a process. Now I'd like to share this. I'd like to describe it to you as a very potent example of how the feeling world inside of our bodies has a direct effect, in this case, a very graphic effect on the world beyond our bodies. So in the video documentation, the film shows a woman lying on in a hospital room. She's fully awake, she's fully conscious, she believes in the process that's about to happen. Before her, there is an ultrasound technician who is running an ultrasound wand over her lower abdomen that we can see on a split screen television. And on the left-hand side of the screen, they do a snapshot, a freeze frame of an instant in time for reference, so we can see what her condition looked like in that instant in time. On the right-hand side of the screen, we are able to watch real time as 3 practitioners stand behind her, working with the energy in her body and with the feelings in their bodies. And what they do is they begin to chant a word that to them
the energy
they've
in her
agreed
bodies.
upon, that reinforces the feeling within them that she's already healed. The chant essentially says already healed, already done. And as they begin to have this feeling and to say these words among themselves on the computer screen, on the television screen, we can watch in real time this cancerous tumor as it disappears in less than 3 minutes real time.
Less than 3 minutes real time.
On a documentary where you see a rose unfold in 30 seconds in something that normally takes days. This literally happens in less than 3 minutes.
Less than 3 minutes real time.
To the feelings of the practitioners who were trained to have the kinds of feelings that they were having. And all they were feeling was the feeling of what it feels like to be in the presence of a woman who is already healed, fully enabled, fully capacitated. They were not seeing her as a woman who was sick. They weren't saying bad cancer, you've got to go away.
We are to be these healers. We heal ourselves, and we're to be these healers.
Very, very different way of thinking about things. It's a very graphic example of precisely how this principle works.
Yes.
I had the opportunity to speak to a gentleman,
say you are healed
Luke
now.
Chen,
Exactly.
who actually created this film.
You are
and I
healed.
asked him a question. I said, what if those 3 practitioners weren't there?
Healed.
So could this woman have done this? Could any of us do this on our own?
I am healed.
And he smiled at me when I asked him the question.
No
he
longer
said,
saying that.
He said, Greg, in all probability, she probably could have done it alone.
Probably could have done it
However,
alone.
There's something about us humans in that we seem to feel more empowered and stronger when we're supported by others in the things that we believe in and in the things that we choose to accomplish.
This is why we have to do this together, family. We have to come together. We have to connect our magnetic field together. Our electromagnetic fields have to be combined. And we do this healing together because it's much more than just an individual healing. It's much more than 3 men affirming the healing in that woman that her energy created, that was already there. They seen her as whole. They affirmed that she was whole, and that woman was whole. And she believed it, and they believed it, and it came to be. And that is what we are to do, family, first within ourselves, and then for this world, for those that are hurting, those that are lost, those that have no idea or comprehension of any of these things, spiritually or physically, what's going on with them. And there are a great deal, many of us who have a great understanding of what's going on still get feel like we're sideswiped by these energies and these emotions, these energies that are putting things in motion in a direction that a few powerful people that are in the know want things to go. And our reality is not going in that direction, family. As we come to know these things, we change these things. And so take these things by faith, family. Couple more minutes and then I'm cutting out.
So while she probably could have had this feeling and done it herself, having these three practitioners work with her was the threshold that it took for her body to respond. All they were doing was having the feeling as if she were already healed, and in less than 3 minutes her body responded. What Western physics now is beginning to tell us is that the same energy, the same field that led to the healing in this woman's body also leads to peace between nations. It's the same thing, different scale, same principle. And I've been involved in experiments where hundreds of thousands of people joined together through the World Wide Web. We were coordinated on the internet at a given hour of time, a window of time, when we were trained to feel the feelings of peace in our bodies during that time. And when we did that, statistically, what happened in events around the world, there were wartime events. There were bombings, aerial bombings in Iraq that were scheduled, that were reversed during the window of time when this prayer was happening. Crimes against people declined. Emergency hospital room visits declined. There was a computer research project at Princeton University that was able to document the field of consciousness on a global level while these prayers were going on. And they saw a little glitch, a glyph on the screen indicating that consciousness was responding to hundreds of thousands of people feeling the feeling of peace in the moment.
If I continue to focus on the fact and say I am sick, my cells are hearing that, and it's going to continue to compound the issue. I am no longer sick. I am no longer saying that I'm sick, and I'm believing that. She laid her hands on me over a week ago, a couple of weeks ago, when I first hit a couple of weeks ago, shortly after Thanksgiving, when I first hit that first big wall. She laid her hands on me, and I believe that healing began then, and I'm taking that now as being whole and healed. And so I appreciate all of the affirmation of that, family. I do. It means
that
a
it was
lot.
Occurring. And what this tells us is that the field we're working with is a measurable field. You can pick it up with equipment. It can be measured on the computer
This field
screen.
is measurable.
This was part of the research project at Princeton University that was called the Global Consciousness Project. So the field is real. It's out there. And it responds to us in ways now that we're only beginning to understand. Even more recently, the research has been done by the scientist Masaru Emoto regarding the relationship between human emotion, human feeling, and water drops is showing this relationship even more poignantly.
So check out the
what
past
has happened
content.
Is that these scientists, this particular research project, has discovered that droplets of water that make up over 70% of our world anyway, and 70% of our bodies, that these droplets of water respond to human emotion, whether it is felt in the body or as it is actually written on labels that are placed onto vials of water. And the emotion of the researcher as the labels are being written and placed onto those vials. The vials are then frozen for a specific period of time, removed from the freezing process. And as they begin to thaw, they crystallize. And the crystals are the telltale sign of what is happening with the emotion. For example, they've taken water, highly polluted, highly toxic water, from some of the most polluted dams in the center of Japan. This water has never been known to crystallize. They just can't get it to crystallize. And when you look at it under a microscope, what you see, it's a very muddy, very nebulous form. There's no symmetry. There's no crystalline structure whatsoever before the emotions are in place. After the emotions are there, for example, when 500 people pray over some of this most polluted water, the before image shows the water in its toxic state. The after image of the same water shows this water beautifully formed, beautifully clear, beautifully crystalline, perfectly symmetrical, purely from the result of human emotion interacting and human feeling interacting with this field of water. Some of the other research has shown families where children and their parents have encircled a vial of water in a room that has never been found to crystallize. Again, some of the very highly polluted and toxic water. And what they do, they make a game out of it. The children, they send love to the water. They say, we love you, water. We appreciate you, water. Thank you, water, for what you bring to our world and our lives. And in that innocence, they are eliciting these genuine states of emotion. And as the research continues, it is precisely these vials of water that have received this kind of energy from the children and their families, feelings that the ancients called prayer, that the water begins to crystallize into beautiful, symmetrical, very clear forms, showing once again that there's a direct effect between what we feel in our bodies and what's happening in the world beyond our bodies. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, very poignant example of how each of us has an opportunity to participate, not to control and manipulate, but rather participate in the events of our world, the events of our lives, our families, our communities, and our bodies through the field that links all in creation.
So that's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing, if you ask me, family. And so the force of human intention, we'll cover a lot of this. I've got a lot more to go over with you, family. A lot more to cover. And I'm not going to go through the comments. I'll go through the comments later if I can and respond in the comments. I'll go through the chat and respond in the comments. If you guys can, again, hit the thumbs up on the video. Share the video out on all of your platforms. Share it often. Direct people to this information if you feel that it's helpful in their healing and in healing this world. And so, family, I just want to encourage you with what we've learned today to just continue to speak life into each other's situations, speak life into your own situation, speak life into the water molecules that make up your body, speak life into every organ, into every cell, into every gene in your body, that you would be healing not only yourself, but that you would be healing all of those ancestral traumas and the things that those who went before us had to experience, so that we would come to this place in time, in the eternal now, and come into this knowledge, and that we have that responsibility, and we should be thankful and give a ton of appreciation and show just take upon us that task with gratitude, that we have this mission to heal ourselves and to dissolve that which separates us from source, so that others can be made whole. And so in that, take every thought captive, family. Test it against the spirit of truth. Is it love? Is it source love? Is that thought's source love? Is the place that thought form came from a place of love? Is that emotion that is moving you, is that sparked by love? Is its basis love? If not, be an observer, family. Be an observer and learn from what those emotions and those thoughts are to teach you. And in that, you will begin healing, breaking chains, breaking generational curses, breaking those things that are passed on from one generation to another. And in doing so, setting the table and setting the field for a whole new future for our kids and for our grandkids. And we can do this, family. We can do this together. I am healed. I am whole. And I believe that. I'm not saying that I'm sick anymore. I've overcome an illness. And family, you can too. And so I believe that. I believe that. I believe that. I believe that. And I believe that that healing is here for our world, not just us individually. And so, family, speak life. Love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. Understand that God is in you. Did you not know that your bodies are a temple for the living God? Understand that God is in you. The kingdom is within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. It's a conscious emotional state. It's a state of consciousness. What are you vibrating at? And are you vibrating in a way that you bring heaven here to earth and heal all these things, make all things new, wipe away every tear from their eyes and make all things new? Family, that's what we're doing. I'm in it with y'all. I love you guys, and I'm excited to continue this series of healing ancestral traumas. It is going to be a multiple ongoing series, and so please, family, continue to support the channel by sharing the information. And if you feel led to, in this time, support my family by donating to any one of those sources and sharing the GoFundMe campaign. As I'm coming out of this, I will be looking to get to a point where I can get back to work soon. And again, I'll keep you guys updated with the weight gain and the health improvements. And so I love you, family. Continue to speak life, continue to be love, and love your neighbor as yourself, family. Namaste.